Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
We'll start the lecture now. So this is regarding the nutrient recommendation. That means now how to calculate the quantity of a particular nutrient for a particular crop. So we discussed last class how we can calculate the nutrient requirement. So based on the general recommendation. So if you don't know the exactly soil value based on the soil nutrient status, so the general recommendation is a blanket recommendation for a particular crop for particular type of soil. Particular type of soil means soil of the fertility, the soil fertility status, whether the low, medium or high fertility. Usually the blanket recommendations or you say general recommendation given for a particular crop for soil of medium fertility. So based on the soil fertility status, if the low fertility, then we will increase the dose by 25%. If it is a high fertility, we decrease the dose by 25%. And also we discussed how to calculate the nutrient requirement, nutrient dose based on the sources of the fertilizers. So as the dose is known as a 150-50 or 150-60, depending upon the crop and the soil type, and the sources of nutrient also known, then we can calculate how much nutrient will require from different sources to meet the doses. As per doses are decided to have that doses, the actual amount of the actual quantification of nutrient requirement for a particular crop. This is what we discussed. And if you are using only chemical fertilizer and also you are using the chemical fertilizer with organic fertilizer, then organic fertilizer should be considered first, because the organic fertilizer amount, this organic fertilizer amount is based on the particular nutrient. So if the crop specific, if you are particular crop, you know the how much quantity of organic fertilizer applied to meet a particular nutrient, and this organic fertilizer also contribute rest nutrient. So you need to calculate the contribution of rest nutrient through organic fertilizer. Accordingly, the balanced nutrient has to be supplied through chemical sources, through respective fertilizers. This is what we have discussed as a blanket recommendation, and these calculation procedures that's now applicable for determining the fertilizer requirement for any crops, for any type of soils, that remains similar for any approach, you can say. But no, the approach is different, how it can approach different, but the calculation process that remains same. Whatever fertilizer you decide, and based on the dose, the amount of fertilizer to be required, that can be calculated following these steps. So we'll discuss nutrient requirement recommendations following regression analysis. So the blanket recommendation, this is a very conventional approach. Usually farmers are given advice to follow the blanket recommendation. That is not in that process. There's a huge amount of fertilizer either get wasted or the crops suffer from the deficit of fertilizer, inadequate fertilizer applications. We don't apply fertilizer as per the need of the crops. We just apply fertilizer to meet the the requirement. Sometimes it may be the excess, and sometimes it may be deficit for a particular soil. As this recommendation is a soil of varying the fertility range. You can say for the medium fertility, the nitrogen content of medium fertility soils ranges from 280 to 560 kg per hectare. So for any soil fertility, so you are giving a particular dose for a particular crop, irrespective of the need of the crops and although the actual fertilizer, the soil fertility status, we don't consider that one. We give the blanket recommendations. So we need some improvement. So one of the improvement is regression analysis approach here. So the fertilizer recommendation given for particular soil, also for particular crop, soil specific and crop specific. So what we conduct some field experiment, and there the graded levels of fertilizers are applied, and we do get the data for the different fertilizer inputs, what are the yield. This is so maybe suppose for nitrogen, so we apply the different dose of fertilizer. Suppose you don't apply any fertilizer, particular soil, 0 applications, or you apply 20 kg, 40 kg, or 60 kg, or 100 kg, 120 kg, or 150 kg, 200 kg. So different graded levels of fertilizers are applied in a particular field. Then we derive a response curve. Develop this response curve of the yield versus the fertilizer, how the yield does respond to the different fertilizer application for particular type of soil. Then we develop the relationship between the crop yield and the soil fertilizer applications. Then we develop equations. Based on that equations, we can determine what is the best dose or the optimum dose of fertilizer recommendation for that particular type of crop. This is what's a regression analysis approach. So we provide the graded levels of fertilizer for a particular crop in a particular field. We apply different levels of fertilizers, and then we record the yield, and then develop a relationship of grain yield with the fertilizer applications. And that one equation is developed, the soil fertilizer applications versus the grain yield. Based on the equations, we can find out what is the best dose of fertilizer for that crop, for that soil only. So this is a crop specific and soil specific. In that case, we apply the right quantity of fertilizer for a particular crop, for particular soil. That may vary from different varieties for some same crop as well. So this we'll discuss now on this for the regression analysis approach. So can you see the whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you see for a particular locations, if you go on applying fertilizer, suppose nitrogen dose, any nutrient, it may be nitrogen, phosphorus and potash. For a particular nutrient, we apply 50 kg and we get this yield. If you go on applying 100 kg, the yield is here. If you get 150 kg, this is the yield. If I apply 200 kg, this is the yield. Again 250 kg, this is the yield. So this is the now yield, the response of yield to different levels of fertilizer application. So based on the response of the yield to different levels of fertilizer applications, we can on the response equations, response functions. The yield is equal to y is equal to a plus bx plus x square, where x is the level of fertilizer and a is the constant and b the regression coefficients for x and c these are the coefficients. So this equation we can develop based on the yield versus the fertilizer dose for that particular crop. So this we take different fields, and for different fields we apply different levels of fertilizers, right? And we do record the yield. For suppose you don't apply fertilizer 0, it may give some yield. Even if you don't apply fertilizer, because soil has its own nutrients. So if your application is 0, still you will get some yield, because the soil contains almost all the nutrients. So that the yield comes from the native soil without any application of fertilizers. If you go on adding fertilizer, your yield increases and also that reaches maximum, and then yield decreases with the excessive level of fertilizers. If you go on applying excess fertilizer, that causes the adverse effect on the crop yield. So as I discussed earlier, because it has effect on the physiological functioning of the crop plants. So if you apply a bit of the fertilizer, the soil becomes sick, soil becomes so highly acidic, and also the crop also loses its own strength in that soil, and then while lodging of crops, the crop may fall down the excessive fertilizers, and that causes huge damage. At the same time, the heavy dose of fertilizer that will encourage more and more of the vegetative growths. So there is more and more leaf formation, the crop remains the longer periods in the vegetative phase. That decreases your reproductive phase, and the translocation of source to sink also affected. And also other disadvantage of excessive fertilizer applications, due to high level of fertilizer, the crop may be highly vulnerable to most of the insect, pest and disease infestations. In that case also crop loses the yield. So we need to go for the optimum level of fertilizer applications for specific crop or specific soil. So we do the experiment having the different levels of fertilizers for a particular crops in a soil and particular varieties, because if you take different varieties, those varieties will give different response to the different levels of fertilizers. So then you develop equations that is the relationship between the fertilizer applications in kg per hectare with the yield. So this relationship may be now y is equal to a plus bx plus cx squares. This is not a linear, as we discussed earlier. This is as a Mr. List growth law. So there is no the increase in yield with increasing addition of growth factor is progressively smaller and proportional to the decrement from the maximum. This follows this is the same pattern. So if you can develop relationship y is equal to a plus bx plus x squares. In this case, if you want to know, you have the data. Now you have data, you have to know what is the optimum dose. The dose for the maximum yield productions. Which can be the dose for maximum yield? If this is the y equal to a plus bx plus x square, this is the relationship between the yield and the inputs. X is your inputs, the kg per hectare, y the yield is also in kg per hectare. Okay, so how you can derive the maximum yield, the dose of fertilizer where the yield can be maximum?
So by taking the derivative and putting it to 0, and
Right.
then we will calculate the value of x.
Right. So if you take the derivatives, so when the change in y with the change in x, that becomes 0. So if there is no further increase in yield with the additional growth factor, that becomes the maximum yield, right? So if you take the derivative, dy by dx is equal to 0, then x is equal to, from that you can get the value of x, isn't it? If you take the derivative, that is dy by dx dy by dx is equal to 0. So dy by dx is equal to b plus 2cx. That means the b plus 2cx, that is equal to 0. That means x is equal to minus b by 2c. Okay. When x is equal to, if you know the irrigation coefficients, it's known, then x is equal to minus b by 2c, then you have the maximum yield. You can get the yield maximum when x becomes minus b. If you have developed the relationship y is equal to a plus bx plus x squares with a different level of fertilizers and the yield, then you can have the x value equal to minus b by 2c is the value of x where you can get the maximum yield. So this is the yield maximum. This is the point for as a yield maximum. Max yield. Suppose you want to get optimum yield. Optimum means economic optimum. Economic optimum yield. How can you get from here? This will give you x is equal to minus b by 2c, where you can get the physical maximum. That means that the yield maximizations. So that may not give you the highest economic return. Okay. So how can you get the level of x, the dose of nutrient, where you can get the maximum economic return? I can get that one from this. That means here this gives this value may be the this may give you maximum yield, but this is not economically optimum dose. How can you get the dose of fertilizer where you can have economic as economically optimum that can give the yield that which yield that gives the maximum economic return? How can you get from here?
Maybe different. Sir,
Yeah.
maybe differentiate it two times, and then the point where the growth rate is starts. For example, the equation would be like this: d2 by dx2 equals to 0. The point that we
Mm.
would get would be the, I guess it would be the optimum yield. I don't know, sir. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sir, but in
Eh,
this case, it would be
Sir,
same, no? Because that's the inflection point in this case also.
Mm-hmm.
sir, I
Sir,
think
but
dy
can
by
you,
dx is the maximum.
dy dx that gives the maximum yield, but I want to know that may not be economically optimum yield, but farmers may be interested to go for the dose of fertilizer where you have the maximum return. Why should they go for the applying fertilizer when there is economic benefit?
Sir, if yield is more, then the return will be also more, right?
No, yield is because each addition of growth factor that gives the lower yield. If you go on increasing growth factor, each addition of successive growth factor, yield doesn't increase the same way.
Sir, then does it have to do anything with the ball unit?
That will be ball, definite that you are going for that one. But when you have a practical experiment, field level experiment, and you have the data with the different graded level of nutrient, and we have collected the data also, and based on the data, we have developed this equation. We may have these several data points. So different level of fertilizer, maybe 50 or 100, there will be many number of experiments. Based on that data points, huge data points, we have developed this relationship, yield versus the nutrient dose versus the yield. And here if you
sir,
get, you need to get the economic optimum, means you need to come with the economic term. That means now the yield is increasing with each successive addition of growth factor. Suppose now the yield is increasing dy, then you have to know here what is the output of that yield, that is into P, the price of the unit yield. When there is a successive addition of growth factor, you get the yield dy, and what is the price per unit of the output, per kg of the output, how much the selling price. That is your economic return, isn't it? If that is same, that is equal to the addition of growth factor is your dx into that unit price of the x. Into the price of x. If this is the input and output, that means as we discussed in the Michel's growth law, for each successive additional growth factor, the yield increases, but that is smaller. If you multiply the yield, suppose you are getting each successive additional growth factor, you are getting 1000 kg, the rice grain is increasing, and you know the price of now 1 kg of rice. Then how much is the output you are getting? Similarly, your dx is fixed. Suppose for each successive addition, you are using 20 kg fertilizer, and the price of the unit kg of fertilizer, and how much price you are putting, right? When your output is greater than your input price, output price you are getting is greater than the input price, that means you must carry on. You must go on applying fertilizer. As long as the each unit increase, this output, that becomes exactly same as the each successive addition growth factor. You can go up to that point because this goes on decreasing over the application of fertilizer. Suppose this price, this unit becomes, suppose this is fixed. Suppose dx into px is equal to 50, right? Because your input is fixed, the graded level of input, and price is also, this becomes fixed and this varies with each successive application of the growth factor. So suppose as long as this 50, this becomes 50, then you can stop there. Don't go on applying further. So it may be somehow, maybe suppose 2000, it may become 1000, it may be 500, 400, 100, finally it becomes 50. When and this 50 and this 50, both the sides remain same, then that is your economic optimum. We should not go beyond this. If you go on beyond that one, then this will be lower than 50, which is not economical. Then if your is successive addition of growth factor that gives the output, which is no the value is lower than your input price, then you should not go for that application of that unit of fertilizer. You must stop there. So that is what it says, the economic optimum when dy the unit the every addition of outputs and the unit price of that output, that product of these two that remains same as your the input cost. Up to that level you can go on applying your fertilizer, that will be give your economic optimum. So same as dy by dx is equal to, so dy by dx becomes your px by py is your px by py. So dy is b plus 2cx is same b plus 2cx x by py, and x is equal to px by py minus b into 1 by 2c. Then when to be applied, that is one different class, how you can say the setup specific, the particular fertilizer at the time of applications. Is it clear?
Sir,
So like once again, can you explain like what is the significance of y into b, sir?
Which one? This one. Okay,
Y
that
into
yeah.
b.
Y into b. Yeah, that I'll give you an example. I think that will be very clear.
So like one more doubt, like how can we calculate it that nitrogen is present this much in organic matter and like nitrogen is brought this much by atmospheric and also like
This through so initial soil fertility analysis. If you go for the soil fertility analysis for a particular soil, you bring to wet lab analysis, you bring to laboratory, then you can know how much organic carbon present in the soil, organic matter present in soil, how much mineral nitrogen present in soil. That can be calculated in the laboratory. But now there are some sensors are having the sensors. Through that sensor, we can take these two components together. We can know how much the available nitrogen present at that moment when you are going for the growing the crops through sensing technique. But to know this one exact value, so that you have to bring the soil samples to the laboratory and do the analysis. From that analysis, you can know how much the mineral nitrogen present in the soil, and you know the how much organic carbon in that soil, and organic carbon through mineralizations, how much nutrient can be available. So very less amount of nutrient can be maybe the 5%. The rate of mineralization is 5% of the total nitrogen present. There only 5% may be available for the existing crop. As an assumption from the research, if there is organic nitrogen present in the soil, maybe the rate of mineralization is 5% of nitrogen may be available for the existing crop. So that you can do through the wet lab analysis in the sample to the laboratory.
Sir,
Yes.
is the efficiency Sir,
Yes.
is the efficiency constant for all cases? Like, sir, for example, when you take E3, nitrogen organic times E3, so this is the efficiency of use of that organic nitrogen. But sir, now this efficiency would change, right, with the weather conditions. Like in the winters, the mineralization decreases, and that's why the efficiency would also decrease. And in the summers, when temperature is high, the mineralization would increase, so efficiency would increase. So, sir, is these efficiencies constant or they vary?
Yeah, so the efficiency are not constant. They do vary. So you are right, as your point, they vary. So depending upon the rate of mineralization, the efficiency will vary. Sometimes the also the crop also. Suppose crop is unable to take the nutrient. There is mineralization is there fast, but crop is unable to take nutrient. So there may be loss also. This varies, but we take a approximation figure in Indian soil. We take an approximate figure. This comes most of the nitrogen fertilizer, if it's fertilizer efficiency, it comes around 30% to 40%. Even the mineral, what is present in the soil, this one, and organic matter, the efficiency around, in case of rice, it is around 30%. But for other crops like aerobic crops like wheat, maize, corn, it may go around 40 to 40% or at best 50%. There is the efficiency may not go beyond 50%.
Okay.
This efficiencies. Okay, so this is one part. The other part, how do you calculate this one? The question was Y into B. B is the nutrient concentration in the plant. That is also known. That may not vary a lot. We can take an approximation figure of the nutrient concentration for particular component, and also the target yield that is up to us. How much target yield that is known, how much yield you are targeting from that soil. Target yield also that is known for a particular crop. These things are known. These things are known, and to have a target yield and this concentration, what is the demand, and these things means this is the from the soil. Either you go for the wet lab analysis or you do the sensing technique. This the N mineralizations and the N from the organic sources. Either you have to bring the samples to laboratory and get analysis, or you have to go for sensing technique. You are going for the site-specific on-site management. We have the variable rate technology. In case of variable rate technology, there is no point of bringing soil samples to laboratory and do the analysis. That means sensors are there. Sensors can note, can give information. So this soil, this point as a grid, particular grid, this is the nutrient present in the soil. So accordingly, the efficiency factor is assigned when approximately the average efficiency, and the algorithm calculate how much nutrient to be applied based on the application technique, how you are applying and taking that efficiency. If you are applying broadcasting, your efficiency may be only 20-30%. But if you are going for the placement using the machine, efficiency may be 50%. So based on that, the efficiency, then calculate how much then the algorithm can give guide this much of fertilizer has to be applied. Based on that, then there is a the information goes to solenoid valve as a rotation speed. Based on that, that much of fertilizer will be dropped in that grid. The grid, as you say, that's a variable rate technology. Once the machine moves to the other area at certain distance, then it has a different soil nitrogen. Accordingly, the application will vary. So in that case, the automatic one is a variable rate technology, where this algorithm is set in the computer-based algorithm, and you have the sensor. Sensor does sense the soil fertility status of that soil, and accordingly the information goes how much fertilizer has to be applied, and same fertilizer is dropped, and that vary as per the grid level. Some grid may have high initial fertility may be high. Some grid may have the low initial fertility. So for different initial fertility, different recommendation has to be given, and accordingly the amount is also dropped in soil. This is what this research is this is going well all in developed country. In India also now people have tried. We are making that one in case of tractor operated or the machine operated variable rate technology, how the amount of fertilizer can be applied, recommended as per the specific soil as per the need of the crop. This is what yeah, please.
Sir, YB is calculated, right?
Beforehand, yes, beforehand.
And once I know YB, I'll be applying it to the ground,
right,
according to the need. And but as the time progresses, there will be some leaching losses or some losses. How will that be taken?
That is what you take efficiency factor into considerations.
So efficiency means when it is available, what is the percentage of uh, nutrients taken by the crop, right?
Yes, because
But the
loss
availability will
that
also
means
decrease.
it may decrease. No, what you say, this gives a total application. That means no, if you take efficiency accounting, because when you apply, there will be mineralizations, there will be loss and uptake both. All nutrients cannot be taken by the crop. Some nutrient may be lost. So that is what the efficiency comes, and through that efficiency, you calculate the total amount required for the crop, but not necessarily you are applying the whole amount at the beginning of the sowing or planting. Okay, for some fertilizers, you apply whole amount at the beginning, but for some fertilizer, we don't apply whole amount at the beginning. And this efficiency is considered as a approximate figures. Even you apply now, of course, like phosphorus or potash, those fertilizers are required at full application at the beginning. And some fertilizer requires split applications, right? So you calculate the whole amount, apply something now as per the before sowing or planting, and keep some amount application afterwards as well. So that application timing also, that depends upon the crop and soil.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are not applying whole fertilizer for specific like phosphorus. We apply whole fertilizer at a time. We don't go for the split applications, because phosphorus is a fertilizer that you apply more number of times, it get fixed in soil and losses is more. Better apply one time. And also the crop has requirement phosphorus at the beginning because it requires for the root system, for the better root growth. So you don't go for a split application of phosphorus. But for the nitrogen, it is subjected to various type of losses. The fertilizer, if you apply a whole amount at a time, then it will lost. It will not be available crops at the latter stages. In that case, we apply as a split doses. Some amount we apply at the time of sowing and planting, and we'll keep some amount for the latter stage application at the critical growth stage, as we discussed earlier. The growth stages where the growth starts, picks up, at that stage, and where there is a formation of reproductive stage, also at that stage we go for the nitrogen fertilizer applications. But we calculate the total fertilizer before going for the sowing or planting operations. And based on that, we go for the split application. Don't apply full amount at a time. We go for the split application at different growth stages of the crop, as per the need, as per the critical growth stages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, when we do split application,
Yeah.
there will be some amount of growth of plant. By that time, how will we be able to take big machines into the farming? Because I saw some.
I got it. It's a good question. Good question you are putting. When we are going for the before sowing, we have taken the soil sampling, and based on that we calculate the total nutrient requirement. And based on the total nutrient requirement, we calculated some portion, part of that, maybe 25% or 50% will be applied at the time of sowing or planting, and rest will be applied in split doses after certain stages. And when certain stage comes, I discussed the stage comes at the critical stages when the crop is very responsive to input applications. And in that stage, we should know how much we need to apply. As a random, as a conventional scale, we apply, the rest amount was left, maybe 25%, again 50% as per our specific. But for, as a scientific or very specific way, we should go for the, as a NDVI, normalized difference vegetation index, remote sensing technique, and also the precision nutrient management tools, like green seeker. Green seeker is one of that one, or the spad meter. We go to the field and insert the leaves in that equipment, or we just run the equipment over the crop field. Based on that information, we calculate NDVI value, and we have the specific data available with the database available with us. At that stage, what should be NDVI value? If from that NDVI value, we know the crop is under stress or non-stress, and based on that, we know what is the soil nutrient, whether you need to go for application of fertilizers. So that gives some type of guiding informations. When the crop has come up, that is a top dressing of nutrient, that based on, as a crop health, we monitor the crop health. Based on that, we should say how much exact fertilizer has to be applied. That's a good one.
Sir, I was asking how machines will be taken into the field without harming.
We don't take, we only take equipment. When you go for application, for application or sensing.
For application of fertilizer.
For application, there are applicators are there. There are applicators, they can move because when the crop height and you see the tractor height, okay?
Yes, sir.
The height difference are there. So there are applicators, the height adjustment is there. If you are going for, at the time of 20 days after planting, the crop height may be around 20 centimeter or 30 centimeter. And tractor height much beyond that one. Or the applicator height, if you see, that can run in, even if some applicators, they can run the interrow area.
Yes.
And they can drop the fertilizer at the proper depth.
Sir, is that done manually in India, or are we also using some kind of machines for applying fertilizers?
Usually farmers, they don't follow. Farmers, they use only manual. After crop has come up, they go for the manual application, broadcasting. They don't use any equipment there. We don't have that much of equipment, precise equipment in India, and that's not available also for the farmers. That's what we are lacking.
Sir, and one last thing which I want to ask is that when we calculated, we got that urea is of we got in terms of tons.
Kg, in terms of kg per hectare.
In kg, even that went about 217 or 218 kg.
Yeah.
How that much nitrogen is carried, at least by farmers manually, to apply it to the fields? They can't carry, means what I'm asking is that they can't carry 200 kgs at a time, at a single time. So how are they applying it?
Oh, so 1 hectare
so
area.
they will carry 10 kgs. They will carry 10 kgs and then apply it and then come back and then again apply it.
So they are covering it the part by part area.
Yes, sir.
They will cover some area, then they will go to other area.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's what they do. So now I could have done one example. I think that time has progressed. I won't be able to do the example. I'll do next class. We'll do example. This will be more clear. This one, balance sheet method.